Hello, welcome to the 2024 Music Commencement. We're so excited to have you here. We're so excited to celebrate the graduation of so many wonderful students of ours. And at the University of Arkansas, on the one hand, you've all fulfilled all the check marks in your degree audit, which is hard to do. There are a lot of spaces depending on your program, and some people with multiple degrees. And what I was thinking about today is just that degree audit, that each line of that degree audit involves so much. A course, often playing in an ensemble, music that the degree audit does not reflect the degree of love that goes into each thing, sometimes the degree of anxiety that goes into each thing. But it's such an accomplishment to have fulfilled that program. So I want to congratulate you just to begin. So many people have been involved in this process, and I thought to begin, we would start with the graduates maybe standing up to thank their family and friends and applauding their family. So if you want to just... and thank you all for being here today. And then next, I would like to introduce the faculty, and I'll let them actually introduce themselves. And if you will applaud at the end, if each of the faculty members will start here and maybe work our way across and let us know your name and your area. What was that? I should name everyone? That wasn't how, my notes don't say that. All right, with help, I think we can do this. So, Sarah Hetrick, saxophone. Well, we'll just consider this part broken down, and we'll, yeah. Erdine Kong, strings. Tomoko Kashiwagi, keyboard, piano. Sisimu Watanabe, jazz. Jake Herzog, jazz and music industry. Matt Mahalka, musicology, thank you. Loren Claire, voice. Lenora Turner-Green, voice. Amy Cooper, musicology. Chal Ragsdale, percussion. Pecos Singer, cello, strings. Novichai Chanta, woodwinds. Catalina Ortega, woodwinds, flute. Daniel Abrahams, music education. Jonathan Stinson, voice. Justin Hunter, musicology and ethnomusicology. Corey Mixdorf, brass, trombone. Marshall Jones, music theory and composition. Tess Delaplane, woodwinds. Bob Mueller, orchestra and music theory and composition. Jeffrey Murdoch, choral activities. and music education. Miroslava Paniatova, keyboards. Krista Bentley, musicology. Moon Suk Park, voice. And Chris Serrer, percussion. And over on that side, Fernando Valencia, jazz and Latin ensemble. All right. Good. All right, well, that was fun. I thought that I would say a few things just in our welcome before having the Latin American music ensemble start playing. This year, we were lucky. Every 3 years, we get a gift from the McElroy family. It's called the McElroy Family Endowment in Visual and Performing Arts. And this was music's year. We got a little bit of a late start because it was my first year as chair. So all of our activities were in this second semester. And we organized 25 activities over the semester that were part of a program called Bridging Differences. And why Bridging Differences? It seemed something that could help us organize the music activities, also enormously important just societally to talk about how to bridge differences. And our subtitle for it was Music's Lessons. So it wasn't any of us teaching this, but just going to concerts, going to workshops, and seeing what played out in terms of bridging differences. I had some ideas going in of, oh, this would be a fun difference if we happened to hear it bridged. And so one might be, as a music theorist myself, that you might have in a piece two themes, one that seems like it doesn't belong at all with the other theme, and at the end of the piece, they go together. And so we would bridge the differences of a couple of melodies. And in the first day of activities, we had a premiere that the orchestra did of Catherine McMichael's piece, Celestial Navigation. And that piece celebrated Margaret Hamilton, who did the code for Apollo 11 going up to the moon. And so her coding was this staccato, very short melody. And that happened at the beginning of the piece while she was doing the coding, and then the idea that it led to this flight to the moon, and that was a longer line. And at the end of the piece, the two came together, and I thought, aha, success, the two melodies have come together, we've bridged differences, if nothing else happens, we're good. And so that was a great beginning. I also was quite certain, given the groups that we had, that we'd have a lot of bridging differences of cultures, and at one of our concerts was members of Silk Road Ensemble, and we had a Congolese guitarist and an Indian tabla player and a Japanese flutist all together, and there was definitely a lot of bridging of differences. And what was exciting is that it wasn't just sort of a check mark on the degree audit of bridging differences, but it actually was exciting in a way that made the music, that energized the music and made it better than probably just one of them playing a concert. The one thing that I hadn't anticipated so much, but a lot of my excitement was in watching the difference between observer and participant. And that was a theme that came through and was really exciting throughout. And I thought that I would just share 3 instances of things that happened over the semester that touched the students and the faculty, and I thought would also be meaningful from a graduate's point of view in thinking forward. So this idea of, are you an observer or are you a participant? In some ways, with this class, if you're senior year in high school, you may have done graduation on Zoom. And so we've all dealt with feeling like observers to things that we should be participating in. And so hopefully, this will feel more participatory in that case. one of the early events we had was celebrating the 100th birthday of Ella Jenkins. She's an African-American who lives in Chicago. She wasn't here, but we celebrated a lot of the things that she does. And she's known as the First Lady of Children's Music. And we had a speaker talk about her recordings. She was on Mr. Rogers a lot, and Sesame Street, and introduced, in particular, a lot of call and response. And this idea of singing something, and then the audience, who should be, or could be considered the observers, participating. And there were so many examples through this week of activities of people who might have been the observer taking part. And one of the things we did was sing Happy Birthday and record it for Ella Jenkins. We were the first people to sing Happy Birthday to her. And we did it as a call and response. So we had lots of little kids singing, and it made a lot of sense. It worked really well. So that was one thing where I think the observer-participant duality was broken down, and it was very powerful. The second thing, very different, but it was with the Silk Road Ensemble members. We had these 3 musicians. They'd never played together. I don't think there's ever been a Congolese guitarist, tabla player, and a Japanese flutist playing together, maybe. But they played right here, and they had been rehearsing frantically to get ready. They arrived, one came in from Ireland, one came from New York. I'm not sure where the other one was from. And so they were practicing their program, which they had not done together before. And the first piece was just so amazing, and I thought, this is great if it was exactly like this. The second piece was incredible, very different. During the second piece, there was a lot of nonverbal communication between the 3 members, which was obvious, but seemed part of the performance. They finished the second piece, and they let us know that actually they were planning to play the second piece, but the guitarist had started with the wrong piece. It started with the 4th piece. And so it was a long guitar solo at the beginning. They hadn't really heard this guitar solo, so they assumed it was the second piece, and then everyone else came in with the second piece, and over a period of time realized that it was the 4th piece, and they all came together, and they just talked about this imperfection for a while. And I thought that that was a great moment in terms of, here are participants who had to be so observant. Now, playing the wrong piece with someone is sort of obvious at times. but that boundary between the two happened there. And what was nice is they played the 4th piece, and they got a lot of applause for the 4th piece, and decided actually it was better positioned as the second piece. It fit together with acknowledging families and generations. So it was an example of things not going perfectly, but with that observer-participant balance that it could actually be better. And the third example was at the Union Theater, and it was actually with the Latin American ensemble. They were playing, and we brought in a guest, Papo Vasquez, trombonist from New York. And it was very exciting to have him here, to have him soloing, and a lot of the focus was that he was going to be participating with the group, and he was in the center, and it was a fabulous concert. We're going to hear sort of parts of it soon. My favorite part, though, and I had a lot of favorite parts, and it's nothing personal, but one of the great moments was there were curtains on both sides, and when Papo Vasquez was not front and center and playing or singing, he was off stage. He could not control himself, though. And so you'd be looking off stage, and there'd be this hand that was sticking out onto the stage with a percussion instrument, and he was playing percussion, and you couldn't see who it was, but it was him. And this idea that even when we are observers, it can be impossible not to participate. And that, I think it was that you so excited him as well, that he was not able to just sit down backstage and rest for his next piece. But when he wasn't playing, he was either dancing or teaching articulations that he wanted you to do. He was just very involved and not able to control himself. I just thought at this juncture when you're graduating and moving from obviously a participant and observer, but to a new level of probably participation and a little less observing, at least in a classroom setting, that remembering the connection between those and how exciting it can be even as an observer and how you can take part in things, that when things don't go perfectly, it doesn't mean that it actually was worse. It's just part of what happens, and just how the audience and your students or whatever you do hopefully will stay involved in a sort of call and response way. So I wanted to bring up those particular things leading up to the Latin American Ensemble. We did not exactly plan this in this, well, graduation is always on a Thursday. In this case, it's May 9th. And we were told about a month and a half ago that we have a secret to keep until May 9th, and that we're unable to say it until May 9th. It involves the Latin American Ensemble, and I thought, well, it's going to be hard to keep it, and I didn't totally keep it, but I told other people to keep it. And but the exciting news is that the June issue of Downbeat magazine came out today. It comes out early. And so on May 9th, we were able to announce that our Latin American Music Ensemble won Best Latin Ensemble, Best Student Ensemble at the graduate level. And so that was published today, and we're really excited that we can have them here today. So with that, I'd like to introduce Fernando Valencia again to lead the ensemble. There'll be one piece, it's Bernstein's Mambo to start, and then they will return at the end to do the other piece. So thank you for coming.
Give it up one more time for the Latin American Ensemble. Well, we are so fortunate to have Sean Kelly as our commencement speaker this year. Sean Kelly is the Associate Director of Bands at Owasso Public High School in Owasso, Oklahoma. His teaching includes symphonic band, 8th grade band, clarinet, and saxophone. Mr. O'Kelly also serves as the music caption head for the Pride of Owasso Marching Band and directs the Owasso Saxophone Ensemble. He has been a recipient of the Phi Beta Mu Young Bandmaster Award for Oklahoma and a 2018 recipient of the Exemplary Teacher Award from the Oklahoma Music Educators Association. As a director and performer, he has appeared at numerous North American Saxophone Alliance conventions and at World Saxophone Conference conventions in France and Croatia. Mr. O'Kelly has served in a number of leadership roles, including OKMEA All-State Band Chair, OKMEA Band Vice President, and North American Saxophone Alliance Youth Engagement Officer. He is a 2001 graduate of this department at the University of Arkansas in music education. Please welcome Mr. Sean O'Kelly.
I'm trying to keep my speech under 30 minutes, so I've just jotted a few notes. Good evening. It's such a pleasure to be here. I want to just send my warm greetings to all the professors of the music department, parents that are here, family members, and the graduates of the class of 2024, and also the Latin Ensemble. Wow, that was amazing. So let's give them another hand. I'm such a proud graduate of this institution, and hearing just the outstanding music and the cultural expression that continues to just radiate is outstanding. So it just makes me feel prouder to say I am from Arkansas. And as I was preparing my words for you this evening, I thought a lot back to my own commencement from this institution, feeling a lot of excitement, anticipation, and fear. All of those just kind of rushed back into my consciousness. Fortunately for you graduates, in the world of professional music, these feelings tend to recycle. So just embrace that stream of consciousness. And it does feel like it was just a couple of years ago that I was in your shoes on the cusp of joining the world of professional musicians. In my case, entering the field of education, but I still wanted to consider myself a true music professional. And I felt a need to prove myself without anybody's help. I had to prove to the world that I could achieve anything because I was good enough. All I really needed, I felt, was the confidence and the will to get my students to desire to be the best music students, in whatever definition that was I envisioned. And I even tried that for a while as a novice teacher. I mean, after all, a saxophonist really knows everything there is to know about the trombone, right? Well, this might be a spoiler alert, but that wasn't a very good success for me. And I realized something was missing. Mentors. Well, I had mentors in college. I mean, of course, that all made sense to me. I had my parents, my teachers, my professors. In fact, some of my biggest mentors are still here at the university. Professor Warren, Professor Ragsdale, they both played an outsized role influencing me during my college years. In fact, I still think the best interim orchestration professor ever in history is Mr. Ragsdale. So that idea of having a mentor wasn't foreign to me. I just thought if I was going to be a successful professional, it had to be me. It had to be my ideas, all on my own actions. Well, I was wrong. Early on in my career, I lived in Conway, Arkansas, and I taught in a town called Greenbrier. If you're from there, I think it's actually pronounced Greenbrier, but to somebody from Fayetteville, Fayetteville's my hometown, it was Greenbrier. So I arrived thinking that every student would love practicing, they would love music, and they would all be future All-Staters. Well, it didn't quite turn out that way. The students didn't take it too well that a 23-year-old determined to single-handedly change their music ecosystem. They weren't really thrilled with that. Much of that was my lack of knowledge and the lack of experience working with real human beings as a leader. They had their own goals. They had their own idea of what the music experience was supposed to be. Well, after some trying and some failing, I awoke from this false belief that it was all on my shoulders. And I met a mentor. Her name was Jackie Lamar. She was the professor of saxophone at the University of Central Arkansas. She has this incredible gift at seeing a person's talent. And I don't mean just their music talent, but their personality traits. She has this unbelievable ability to reveal new ways to just look for good traits in people and use those traits to grow and cultivate other traits. She instilled in me this importance of continuing to grow, not just as somebody who needed to know more about the trombone, but as a saxophonist, as a musician. And she even encouraged me to find opportunities to sing and develop those skills. And I remember saying, Sean, you gotta get good at everything if you're gonna be good. And so I did. She introduced me to a whole new network of professionals in the area. Soon, I had college students up at my school helping teach the marching band or giving music lessons. She encouraged me to engage with all the guest artists that the university brought in. I even got my first studio recording gig, playing background tracks for the Miss Arkansas pageant, 2003. I still haven't gotten my CD, but I know it's out there. None of that would have been possible without her mentorship, her willingness to be my mentor. But it also required me accepting the reality that I could not bring opportunities or success to myself or those around me without guidance, without mentorship. After 3 years of teaching in Greenbrier, I began working in Owasso, Oklahoma, a home I have now known for 20 years. What a huge change that was. At Greenbrier, I had 72 students in my school band program. At Owasso, there were 280 in the high school. It felt so intimidating. But this time around, I had a really good mindset about how to approach this challenge. On my very first day, a man in his mid-50s with thinning gray hair walked up to me and said, "I'm Mike Taylor. I work the marching fundamentals around here. I assume you must be the new guy." Well, Mike was a recently retired teacher who, for his hobby, taught marching band as a retirement hobby. Really? That's how you're going to spend your retirement? When I met him, I thought, there's got to be something to him. I better get to know him. Well, I didn't know it at the time, but 20 years later, I can say Mike is one of my strongest lifelong mentors and friends. He has a wit and wisdom that are only matched by his genuine care and concern for the students as people first and as students second. I made it my business to learn as much as I could from him. While I could cite countless life lessons and principles that Mike has instilled in me over the years, I know you'll appreciate this speech if it's shorter. So I'm going to offer two of the most important life lessons that I took from Mike. First, always give people a chance to fail. And he first presented it to me as a teacher, but then he presented it to me as a person. You just don't know what people can't do until they prove to you that they can't do it. It seems so simple, and it really is. Don't decide what anyone's potential is. Don't decide what your relationship with them will be. Don't predict anyone's future. Let them show you themselves. The second one, and this one is really near and dear to me, is always let people see you bleed. You have to show that you're a real person. And to me, truer words have never been spoken. If people know what brings you joy, what brings you hurt, passion, sorrow, it will create healthy human boundaries for you and them. In my life experience, I find that people are mostly filled with goodness, and they seek to be a force for that goodness. If you share yourself, the good and the tough parts, most people work hard to bring your good out of you. Well, in 2011, my friend and mentor Mike finally retired from his retirement gig, marching band job, and he moved to Longmont, Colorado, so that he and his wife could live closer to their daughter. Since that time, I've made over 30 visits. I think I went in April, and it was like 32. We've been trying to count back. And most of these trips are under the guise of enjoying the lifestyle and outdoors of Colorado, but I always find time to get Mike's perspective in my world. My world came full circle as a professional and just as a person in 2015 when Dr. Lamar, back at UCA, reappeared in my life. One of my very first saxophone students at Owasso chose to major in music at UCA. So she knew I was still working hard to be the person she envisioned when I was 23. I received an email inviting me to join her saxophone ensemble to perform at the World Saxophone Congress in Strasbourg, France. One of her philosophies, of course, is that music teachers are professional musicians, and professional musicians perform. So I readily agreed, because there's no telling her no. So while there, I attended some amazing performances. One of those was the H2 Saxophone Quartet. This group included saxophonists in my part of the world, my part of the country, and afterward I approached them to just share my appreciation. In our conversation, one of the members, Dr. Jeff Leffert, suggested that his college studio and my high school saxophone studio collaborate and perform at the next North American Saxophone Alliance convention. Sounds like a Comic-Con, doesn't it? It's just Comic-Con with saxophones, you know. It's really a lot of fun. So few high school students at the time attended this convention. My first reaction was, that's a really nice thing to say. That's nice that you would say that to me. And I didn't really take it very seriously. Until a month later, when I got a phone call from Dr. Leffert with a proposed program asking how many students would be playing each instrument, soprano, alto, tenor, bari, bass. Well, at that point, I felt like I couldn't say no. After all, you couldn't say no to Dr. Lamar, so you probably don't want to say no to him either. The temptation was there, though. It seemed so scary, so foreign. High school students playing at a professional convention? Are you kidding me? Well, what happened next challenged and changed us all. Dr. Leffert made 5 trips through the course of the year to invest in the student growth. He gave lessons, he gave sectionals, he brought in his students to work with us. The students got really excited about building themselves up. They got more excited about each subsequent visit. Everyone could sense that momentum, and it all culminated in March of 2016 with a terrific performance experience. And none of us have ever really looked back. With Dr. Leffert's help and guidance, we had more professionals that began to visit us and build us up into higher heights. We performed at NASA again in 2017, 18, and every year since. Just this year, our journey took our saxophone ensemble all the way to the Midwest Band and Orchestra Clinic in Chicago. I don't really know what's next for that group, but I know it's going to be good. I gave up a long time ago on the "this is the greatest experience you'll ever have" speech, because I don't know what's next. I just know it's going to be good. Just keep climbing and see what's there. So we're all here because we love music. And for me, my life has come full circle through music and through my mentors. I love how music gives us a voice for expression, the unity it brings out in others, our individual passion for our own talents and achievements. But where did that begin? I envision it much like a river. It starts high in the mountains, continually being poured into by rain and melting snow. That water flows vast distances on its journey to the ocean, often making its origin a mystery. What if that's our passion for music? What if that's how it works? At some point early in your life, someone poured into you that water, that passion, that wisdom, and it has to be continually fed. If the river stops receiving the melting snow and stops receiving the rain, the river goes away. So, just like the river, we have to continually be fed. So find mentors, whatever you're doing with your life. If it's in music in 10 years, if it's not in music, find people who pour into you. Because one day, whatever you're doing, if you're singing, if you're teaching, if you're in a professional symphony, you will be pouring into someone else, and you want to make sure there's water in your river. So as a music teacher, I treasure my students. They're the most important people that I interact with every day. And when they leave, it's a big deal to me. So I tell them 3 things. Look for the good, Google something every day, and never, ever pay full price. Excellent advice for those of us with futures in music. Congratulations, class of 2024. It is a pleasure to call you a colleague and a graduate of the University of Arkansas.
Would you like to come on this side? Okay. Hand gestures, it always works. Good evening. Every semester, we as teachers and mentors hope for the best, that our students discover, learn, and have transformational experiences that makes each of them feel accomplished at the end of the year. Students, as well faculty and staff members, all have difficult days and weeks when we feel like we might not make it. But we are here today, so before we move on to the award ceremony, I think we need to give all of us a round of applause for being here. The department award recipients are selected by faculty nomination and are given to students whose musical and academic performance, achievements, and contributions within the Department of Music at the University of Arkansas are outstanding. It gives me great pleasure and honor to invite them to the stage to be recognized as award winners for academic year 2023 and 2024. This is the difficult part. I'm sure you want to clap for every single one of them, but please hold your applause until we have all our recipients on stage, and I will give you a minute to applause as long as you like. So Dr. Gossman has certificate for the students. If when your names are called, please come up to the stage, and if you can form a line, that would be great. We would start with the Outstanding Area Awards. Abigail Tanner receives Music Education Award. Daniel Bartley, Music Theory. Ray Lenhart, Musicology. Zachary Puthongbong, Musicology. I need to slow down. Zoe Benton, Jazz. Juan Ramos, Strings. Hannah Laws, Piano. I'm so proud of all of you. Abigail Short, woodwinds. Wes Betcher, woodwinds. Doug Harnish, brass. Henry Sargent, brass. Benjamin Wheeler, percussion. Gregory Aliano, guitar. Cole Birmingham, graduate studies. We also have named awards. Pressler Undergraduate Scholar Award goes to Sally Hendricks. I don't think she's here today. Robert M. Bright Endowed Brass Scholarship goes to Sophie Jacques. I don't think she's here too. Yanis Lyos Award for Vocal Excellence goes to Braden Sanford and Ian Gellikame. Richard Brothers Schola Cantorum Founders Award goes to John Kimitanjenga. I don't think he's here. Oh, yes, he is. Harry Budd Inspirational Chorale Founders Award goes to Joe Broom. Eldon A. Jensen Directors Award for this is a hard word. Meritorious Service Award goes to Sally Hendricks. And one more award, Outstanding Orchestra Member Award goes to Merritt Denton. Congratulations, students, and thank you for holding your pause. This is your moment. Give it up. Thank you, students. You can go back to your seat. And audience, you get an A+ for holding your applause.
Good evening, everyone. Now comes the time we've all been waiting for. Our spring 2024 undergraduates, Gregory Aliano, Bachelor of Arts in Music. Hunter Anderson, Bachelor of Music in Performance. Zoe Benton, let me slow down. They're coming, they're coming. Zoe Benton, Bachelor's of Music in Jazz Studies. Danny Biggs, Bachelor's of Arts in Music. Aurora Anna Campbell, Bachelor of Arts in Music. Charles Coombs, Bachelor of Arts in Music. Matthew Croland, Bachelor of Arts in Music. Nicole Dixon, Bachelor of Arts in Music. Katie Elder, Bachelor of Music Education, Choral. Leah Foster, Bachelor of Music in Composition, Bachelor of Music in Theory. Adeline Franklin, Bachelor of Music Education, choral. Douglas Harnish, Bachelor of Music Education, instrumental. Sally Hendricks, Bachelor of Music Education, instrumental. Caroline Kulis, Bachelor of Music Education, choral. Ray Lenhart, Bachelor of Music in Performance. Cody Lucas, Bachelor of Music in Jazz Studies. Ashton Morin, Bachelor of Arts in Music. Sorry, Cody. Hannah Myers, Bachelor of Arts in Music. William Oliver, Bachelor of Arts in Music. Zachary Putavong, Bachelor of Arts in Music. Kate Sanchez, Music Industry Certificate. Abigail Short, Bachelor of Music in Performance, Bachelor of Music in Theory, Bachelor of Music Education, instrumental. William Sullivan, Bachelor of Music in Composition. Abigail Tanner, Bachelor of Music Education, instrumental. Ethan Thompson, Bachelor of Arts in Music. Davis Vaughn, Bachelor of Music Education, choral, Bachelor of Music in Composition, Bachelor of Music in Theory. Ashland Ward, Bachelor of Music Education, choral. Soph Ware, Bachelor of Arts in Music. Dylan Wanino, Bachelor of Music in Jazz Studies. Sarah Grace Wood, Bachelor of Music Education, instrumental. Catherine Umung, Bachelor of Music Education, instrumental. Can we give all of our graduates a hand? And now for our Spring 2024 graduate students. Wesley Bescher, Master of Music in Oboe Performance. Did I get it right? Becker. Robin Bebo, Masters of Music in Guitar Performance. Cole Birmingham, Master of Music in Guitar Performance. Dominique Butcher, Master of Music in Voice Performance. Corey Fincher, Master of Music in Percussion Performance. Christopher Gavada, Masters of Music in Composition. Sierra Hoagland, Master of Music in Flute Performance. Sherry Monka, Graduate Certificate in Music Education for students with differences and disabilities. John Kimita Njenga, Master of Music in Choral Conducting. Jason Resnicek, Master of Music in Instrumental Conducting. Lauren Zygmunt, Master of Music in Horn Performance. Morgan Brown, Bachelor of Arts in Music. Morgan, Bachelor of Music Education, Instrumental. Megan Park, Bachelor of Music in Performance. Maxwell Rice, Bachelor of Arts in Music. Catherine Ryan, Bachelor of Music Education, Instrumental, and Bachelor of Music in Performance. Caitlin Berry, Graduate Certificate in Music Education for students with differences and disabilities. Cassandra Dean, Graduate Certificate in Music Education for students with differences and disabilities. Kaylee Irwin, Masters of Music in Composition. Alexandra Holcomb, Graduate Certificate in Music Education for students with differences and disabilities. Can we give our graduate students and all of our graduates today another round of applause?
Thank you everyone for joining us this evening. A few other thank yous. We would like to take a moment to thank the Commencement Committee, Professors Sarah Hetrick and Jake Herzog, for making the trains run so smoothly and on time with tonight's commencement ceremony. And of course, thank you to the friends, supporters, parents, and students whose light has made our department the shining star on campus that it is. We would not be where we are without you. So thank you also for bringing your all to everything you do, including your time here with us. We are grateful for the space and time we have been able to share together. Please don't be a stranger. We look forward to keeping in touch, hearing all about the beautiful music making and groundbreaking things you'll be continuing and contributing to our field. Have a wonderful summer, and I encourage all of you to continue our celebrations in the lobby of FPAC, where we are holding our reception after, of course, our Latin American ensemble. Congratulations again to our graduating class of 2024.
hasta mí como un sol, despejando el cielo gris y tu luz alumbró donde nadie pudo entrar, donde había oscuridad.